Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 33, Activities of Kapila, text number 5 onwards. So Mother Devahuti is speaking to Kapila. Tvam dehe tantra prashamai papmanam nidesh bhajam cha vibhu vibhudaye yathavatara stava shukaradhyas tathayam apyatma palod labde. My dear Lord, you have assumed this body in order to diminish the sinful activities of the fallen and to enrich their knowledge in devotion and liberation. Since these sinful people are dependent on your direction, by your own will, you assume incarnations as both and as other forms. Similarly, you have appeared in order to distribute transcendental knowledge to your dependents. In the previous verse, the general transcendental qualifications of the Supreme Personality of Godhead were described. Now the specific purpose of the Lord's appearance is also described. By his different energies, he bestows different kinds of bodies upon the living entities, who are conditioned by their propensity to lord it over material nature. But in due course of time, these living entities become so degraded that they need enlightenment. It is stated in Bhagavad Gita that whenever there are discrepancies in the discharge of the real purpose of this material existence, the Lord appears as an incarnation. The Lord's form as Kapila directs the fallen souls and enriches them with knowledge and devotion so that they may go back to Godhead. There are many incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, like those of the boar, the fish, the tortoise, and the half-man, half-lion. Lord Kapildev is also one of the incarnations of Godhead. It is accepted herein that Lord Kapildev appeared on the surface of the earth to give transcendental knowledge to the misguided, conditioned souls. So like Mother Devahuti says that, Lord, my dear Lord, you assume different kinds of bodies just to suit the purpose of your coming. So in this incarnation as Lord Kapildev, he appeared to give the transcendental knowledge. By the knowledge, so that by the knowledge they get enlightened and they get detached, the souls get detached, and they find and they start or make progress on the journey back to Godhead. So this was the purpose of Lord Kapila. Of course, Krishna himself, when he himself comes, then he performs various activities, for various reasons he comes. But other incarnations, because Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they are avatari themselves. But other incarnations, when they appear, they come for a specific purpose. So like Lord Kapildev, to give the knowledge. And like Lord Varahadev came to bring Mother Earth back in the orbit. And other incarnations, they came for specific purposes. Well, of course, they all are the incarnations or expansions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But according to the need, they display particular or whatever particular energies they need to. But when Krishna himself comes, then he displays all the energies, all the opulences. That's the difference. Yan nam dheya shravananu kirtanad yad pranad smaranadapi kvachit shvadu api sadhyah savanaya kalpate kutah panaste bhagwan darshana. To say nothing of the spiritual advancement of persons who see the Supreme Person face to face. Even a person born in the family of dog eaters immediately becomes eligible to perform Vedic sacrifices if he once utters the holy name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or chants about him, hears about his pastimes, offers some obeisances, or even remembers him. So this is how powerful the chanting of the holy name is. Even a person born in the family of dog eaters, which are called chandals, somebody might say, what's wrong with eating dog's flesh? It's the same thing whether you kill a chicken or a dog or a goat or any other animal and eat it. What's the difference? But they don't, those who are meat eaters, they will never understand. And people in general, they don't understand that every animal has a different consciousness. Every food, of course, meat, barring meat obviously in mode of ignorance or lower than that, like meat of dog is even lower than even the mode of ignorance. There could be so many gradations of ignorance. So it goes in that category. Just like even vegetables, they could be in the mode of goodness, passion, or ignorance. That's why Prabhupada told us, and it's in the Shastra, it's not what Prabhupada made it up. He said, do not eat onion and garlic, masoor ki dal, mushrooms. Don't eat those food because they are tamasic, or masoor ki dal is rajasic, passionate. So somebody can argue, oh, masoor ki dal, it has lots of protein, it's very good for the body, but it's so much impassioned. Why you want to eat that? So similarly, mushroom and onion garlic. People argue so much about onion and garlic. Garlic is in complete ignorance. So when we eat the food in the mode of ignorance, our consciousness becomes like that. Onion and garlic. Sometimes people argue, and many people, because they want to eat or they just want to argue with devotees. Oh, garlic and onion have so many medicinal qualities, and we should eat and good for the good health and this and that. So first of all, we should understand what's the origin of onion and garlic. So their origin is cow's flesh, cow's hoof actually. So we don't want to eat cow's hoof. And secondly, there's so much of an ignorance, or even if somebody doesn't understand, it's an ignorance. If they say it has medicinal value, well, medicinal value, do we make a soup of aspirin and paracetamol and other medicines and drink that? We don't. We take a medicine, just a tablet, and that's it. Medicine has to be eaten like a medicine. We don't make sabji out of medicine and put aspirin tablet or whatever tablets in all our sabjis and dal and everywhere and eat that. Oh, who does that? So if you want to eat like that medicine, just take one clove of garlic and eat it and be done with it. Okay, it's medicine. But this is not what people understand, because they're so much accustomed to the taste, to the smell of garlic and onion. They want to eat. So here, okay, coming back to this verse, which is this one and next verse are very important verses for the glories of the holy name. If he once utters, so he is in complete mode of ignorance, the chandal, the dog eater. If he once utters the holy name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or chants about him, or hears about his pastimes, offers him obeisances, or even remembers him, he can become spiritually advanced. That's how powerful Krishna, Krishna's pastimes, or in the holy name of Krishna is. Okay, let's see what Prabhupada says. Here in the spiritual potency of chanting, hearing, or remembering the holy name of the Supreme Lord is greatly stressed. Rupa Goswami has discussed a sequence of sinful activities of the conditioned soul, and he has established in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu that those who engage in devotional service become freed from the reactions of all sinful activities. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. The Lord says that he takes charge of one who surrenders unto him, and he makes them immune to all reactions to sinful activities. If by chanting the holy name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one becomes so swiftly cleared of all reactions to sinful activities, then what is said to be of those persons who see him face to face? So there cannot be any comparison, or we cannot even understand the fortune of persons who are seeing him face to face. Another consideration here is that persons who are purified by the process of chanting and hearing become immediately eligible to perform Vedic sacrifices. Generally, only a person who is born in a family of Brahmins who has been reformed by the 10 kinds of purificatory processes and who is learned in Vedic literature is allowed to perform the Vedic sacrifices. But here the word sadhya immediately is used, and Srila Swami also remarks that one can immediately become eligible to perform Vedic sacrifices. A person born in a family of the low caste, which is accustomed to eat dogs, is so positioned due to his past sinful activities. But by chanting or hearing once in pureness or in an offenseless manner, he is immediately relieved of the sinful reaction. So he is immediately relieved by chanting or hearing once in pureness or in an offenseless manner. Now there are 3 stages of chanting: offensive stage, offenseless stage, and the pure stage. So offensive stage also has positive effect. Positive effect, of course. Chanting of the holy names will always have positive effect. Cannot have negative effects on leaving the sin. Haribol, whoever this is, please, Galaxy M21, please mute yourself. Don't turn it on. I'm trying to mute yourself again and again. Not only is he relieved of the sinful reaction, but he immediately achieves the result of all purificatory processes. Taking birth in the family of a Brahman is certainly due to pious activities in one's past life. But still, a child who is born in a family of Brahman depends on his further reformation upon initiation into acceptance of a sacred thread and many other reformatory processes. But a person who chants the holy name of the Lord, even if born in a family of chandals, dog eaters, does not need reformation. So if you're born in a family of Brahman, he still needs reformation by 10 different kinds of sanskars. But if one just chants the holy name, he doesn't even need those sanskaras. Prabhupada did give Harinam Diksha and then Brahman Diksha to those devotees who were following him, who were chanting. That was just to abide by the social order, the custom, the traditions. Otherwise, Prabhupada even said that they don't even need any Brahman thread or any other sanskar, because they're chanting the holy name. And this is based on scriptures. It wasn't Prabhupada was making it up. Simply by chanting Hare Krishna, he immediately becomes purified and becomes as good as the most learned Brahman. But in fact, better than a Brahman, because he becomes a Vaishnava. Sridhar Swami especially remarks in this connection, Anena Pujyatvam Lakshate. Some caste Brahmins remark that by chanting Hare Krishna, purification begins. Of course, that depends on the individual process of chanting. Shashwati Mataji, please don't unmute yourself. Of course, that depends on the individual process of chanting, but this remark of Sridhar Swami is completely applicable if one chants the holy name of the Lord without offense. For he immediately becomes more than a Brahman. As Sridhar Swami says, Pujyatam, he immediately becomes as respectable as a most learned Brahman and can be allowed to perform Vedic sacrifices. If simply by chanting of the holy name of the Lord one becomes sanctified instantly, then what can be said of those persons who see the Supreme Lord face to face and who understand the descent of the Lord, as Devahuti understands Kapildeva? There's so much of glories of the holy name is mentioned here. Just once, if he has uttered the name of Krishna, once, that purifies him completely. So purifies him completely means it doesn't mean his propensity goes away of committing sin. He might still have propensity, but all his previous sinful reactions are wiped out if he had chanted only once the pure holy name. Even offenseless, not even talking pure, offenseless chanting means there's so many offenses we commit while chanting. If we just chant even once offenselessly, all the reactions, sinful reactions are gone. And he becomes even better than a Brahman because he has chanted the holy name. And see, these chapter, these instructions, or this talk is going on in Satyuga. So even in Satyuga, the Lord's holy name is always potent and everywhere, not just on planet Earth. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Naam bina kichu nahi kaara, 14 bhuvan maache. There is nothing else except the holy name in all the 14 planetary systems. So that is why once Prabhupada, when he was in Vrindavan with his disciples and trying to get this Krishna Balram temple constructed, his disciples would go to different temples of Vrindavan, take darshan, and try to associate with the Brajvasis. So they once went to one temple, and the pujari there, he said, "Oh, you all devotees, you're doing a wonderful job and chanting and doing service. So we'll pray to Krishna that he gives you birth in a Brahman or a Goswami family next life so that you can do the service properly." So this disciple, they didn't say anything, they just came back to Prabhupada and told Prabhupada this is what he said. Prabhupada said, you should have told him that, oh, you're doing so much of service of Thakurji very nicely, so maybe Krishna will become pleased with you and give you birth in the Western country next life in a devotee's family, so you can chant the holy names properly and do some service. So according to Prabhupada and according to the scriptures, I mean, the chanting of the holy names is so powerful. Upon initiation, usually this initiation depends on the bona fide spiritual master who directs the disciple. If he sees that a disciple has become competent and purified by the process of chanting, he offers a sacred thread to the disciple just so that he will be recognized as 100% equal with the Brahman. This is also confirmed in Hari Bhakti Vilas by Sri Sanatana Goswami. As a base metal like bell metal can be changed into gold by a chemical process, any person can similarly be changed into a Brahman by Diksha Vidhan, the initiation process. And like Prabhupada said, He offers a sacred thread just so that he would be recognized as 100% equal with the Brahman. But actually, he doesn't need it. It's just a social tradition or custom. Prabhupada didn't want to go against it. And this is in Hari Bhakti Vilas that Sanatana Goswami has said. As a base metal, like bell metal, if we add mercury to it at certain procedure, certain room temperature and this and that, it can turn into gold, pure gold. And similarly, a dog eater or chandal, when he is touched by the holy names, by the mercy of a guru, then or a diksha vidhan, and he can be converted into a Brahman. And that is why Prabhupada not only make his disciples who were not born in Varnashram system, not only make them Brahman, but he also gave them sannyas, which was never heard of in India before that. That Americans are getting sannyas and Danda and Europeans and Chinese and Japanese, all becoming sannyasis. So sannyasis in India is considered a very high level, of course. Nowadays, people are forgetting the proper position of a sannyasi. But early days, even 50, 60, 80 years ago, sannyasis were really respected everywhere. And Prabhupada gave them sannyas based on the scriptures. It is sometimes remarked that by the chanting process, one begins to purify himself and can take birth in his next life in a Brahman family and then be reformed. But at this present moment, even those who are born in the best Brahman families are not reformed. Nor is there any certainty that they are actually born of Brahman fathers. Formerly, the Garbhadan reformatory system was prevalent, but at the present moment, there is no such Garbhadan or seed-giving ceremony. Under these circumstances, no one knows if a man is actually born of a Brahman father. Whether one has acquired the qualification of a Brahman depends on the judgment of the bona fide spiritual master. He bestows upon the disciple the position of a Brahman by his own judgment. When one is accepted as a Brahman in the sacred thread ceremony under the Pancharatrika system, then he is Dvija, twice born, or Brahman. That is confirmed by Sanatana Goswami, Dvijatvam Jayate. By the process of initiation by the spiritual master, a person is accepted as a Brahman in his purified state of chanting the holy name of the Lord. He then makes further progress to become a qualified Vaishnava, which means that the Brahmanical qualification is already acquired. So this chanting of the holy name, just like when Advaita Acharya in Shantipur, he performed the Shraddha ceremony of his father. And Advaita Acharya was a leader of all the Brahmins in the area. He was the topmost leader. And he performed the Shraddha ceremony, and after the Shraddha ceremony, Brahmins from all over Navadvip were invited to his house to have prashadam, to take prashadam. But what did Advaita Acharya do? He gave the first plate of prashad to whom? To Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur was born in a Muslim family. He wasn't even initiated. But Advaita Acharya, recognizing his faith, his dependence, his love for the holy name, chanting of the holy name, because Haridas Thakur used to chant 192 rounds every day at that time. So Advaita Acharya offered him the first plate of Prashadam Shraddha ceremony. And Haridas Thakur protested. He said, Advaita Acharya, what are you doing? There's so many Brahmins here, you should feed them first. I'm just a low-born Malecha. And Advaita Acharya said, no, by feeding you, I'm feeding 1 million Brahmins. So you please accept. And then what happened was all the Brahmins gathered there, they got upset with Advaitacharya, thinking, how come Advaitacharya forgot the proper custom? And he's feeding a Muslim first, a Malecha, and they all left without eating. Now, Advaita Acharya is Mahavishnu himself, and Haridas Thakur is Brahmaji. So what happened? Mother Nature got so upset with all these Brahmins. She blew very severely, so severely that at that time, the tradition was, or the custom was, that every household would have a lamp burning 24/7. So whenever there were no like matchsticks or lighters that time. So whenever you needed fire for cooking, you would just take a piece of wood, take from that fire, burn that piece of wood and put it in the stove or the cow dung, whatever they were using. Now every household, the lamps were out. So they could not cook and they hadn't eaten at Advaitacharya's house. So now all the Brahmins are hungry. Brahmanasya bhojanam priya. They like to eat. So now there was a problem. No lamp anywhere in the whole Navadvip. So how will the cooking go on? So somehow they found there was only one lamp burning in the whole Navadvip. And that lamp was in the cave of Haridas Thakur where he was chanting. So the dilemma was, if you want to eat, you have to go beg fire from Haridas Thakur, and then cooking can be done. So what to do? They all went, they begged forgiveness from Haridas Thakur, and they took the fire, and then they started cooking. So this was to show the potency of Harinam and Haridas Thakur, who used to chant 3 lakh names every day. So by mercy of Krishna and by mercy of Prabhupada, we all have been given this opportunity. Prabhupada took this holy name all over the world and gave to everybody, all of us. We got this opportunity to chant Harinam by His mercy only. And so much so mercy that I was going to ask Radha Prabhu to start motivating everybody, but now since the verse is there, 2nd June. Here it's on 2nd June, I don't know in India, maybe on 2nd or 3rd June, it's Pandav Nirjala Ekadashi. So means a very, very, very auspicious day. Every Ekadashi we chant more rounds, but on Pandav Nirjala we are not going to eat or drink anything. Might as well spend the whole day chanting. So Radha Prabhu will obviously send a motivating note and asking.
Yeah, actually it is overdue already.
Asking everybody to chant more rounds, and there will be counting going on throughout the day. So let's wait for his note and let's plan to chant many more rounds. So we'll stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments. Yes, Radha Prabhu, you were saying something?
Yes, Prabhu, I said it is already overdue. Last Ekadashi only I wanted to send out the message.
That's okay, we still have 3-4 days.
Yeah. Some devotees were asking me since last 1 month, when is Nirjala? So we've been, actually our minds are being prepared for the occasion. So this is the only real Ekadashi which we observe. So yes, we will have a chanting marathon. So, so you are our inspiration. You are our Haridas Thakur.
No, Haridas Thakur. So obviously we will not have the class that day, so we'll just chant. Sit down and chant.
Yeah, and some Mataji become so inspired, they even cross 200 rounds.
Yeah. I know Rajni Bajaj Mataji.
Yeah.
Oh.
You
Hare
can include them in the Japathon at that.
Yeah. I will send out the message to them. So if they want, they can just join the group.
Sure.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, this on Ekadasi, when the marathon is going on, it would be a daytime in India, but a night in US. So
That's okay.
So meaning in US we should be fasting in night? How should we do it? Because when we are doing in
No.
US, India would be sleeping it. No.
That's okay. We follow our schedule.
Okay. Okay. So when they have completed marathon, our marathon will start. Kind of.
There will be some overlap, but that's okay.
Okay. Okay, Prabhuji. Yeah. I just wanted to check that. Yeah. Thanks.
You report according to your timing at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
or noon.
Reporting time is 8 o'clock in the morning, 12 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and again 8 o'clock and night, midnight, 12 o'clock. So we have every 4 hours of reporting. So this year we are expecting Rajiv Prabhu to come to 192 rounds. He is very good at it.
Haribol. I don't know.
Yeah,
Let's see
you
what Krishna wants.
you chant 64 rounds easily in half a day. So I think for you it is not very difficult. All you have to do is chant, start at 4 o'clock in the morning and you'll be easily able to do it.
Yeah, let's see what the mercy of Krishna goes. We pray Krishna allow us to do this. Yeah.
It's a wonderful day to chant so many rounds.
True. Very true.
So we are expecting
Thanks, Prabhuji.
Saraswati Mataji, Puja Mataji, etc. to give a lot of fight for visit people this time.
I hope so. Chalo. So I guess we can stop here. You all have a wonderful and safe day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Ram.
So thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much.